Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. Squid Game is the number one show on Netflix at the moment, and it's being hyped up all over the shop, all over the place, to the extent that this Korean TV show is now looking to become the biggest show or the most successful series that Netflix have ever had. This show is about basically 500 people who are all massively in debt financially due to gambling or bad business endeavors or whatever. And they are entered into a battle royale, a Hunger Games type game where contestants engage in children's games and failure results in death. I believe in the first episode, hundreds of the contestants are shot by this big doll creature playing a game of hide and seek, bodies piling up, etc., etc. Now, this show has caused a lot of controversy. Here we see in the Daily Mail, it says here, "Is this the most twisted series on TV? Netflix Squid Game, about a fictional battle royale style game show with scenes of organ harvesting, torture and death squad killings, is slammed for excessive violence and gore by viewers," it says here. Again, this article in itself, talking about the show, is propaganda, because they know, just like with the petrol nonsense in the UK over the last couple of weeks, where the propaganda in the press was saying, oh no, there's going to be petrol in short supply, but don't panic whatever you do. And what is the result? Loads of people rush out to get petrol. Same thing here. They talk about a TV show being shocking and people wanting to ban it. And what's the result? Loads of people will go and check it out to see what the fuss is all about. So now, I've said this before, but my opinion on Netflix is that it's a well-developed propaganda machine for this new age. The co-founder and the first CEO of Netflix was Mark Bernays Randolph. His uncle was the famous Edward Bernays, the inventor of modern propaganda. Now, do you think that that is a coincidence? Amongst many things, Edward Bernays was instrumental in drumming up support for the needless slaughter of Europeans and Americans in World War I. After the war, he worked to addict Western women to smoking by tricking them into thinking it was freedom. Bernays worked tirelessly on methods of brainwashing people into becoming good, rootless consumers. He even worked with the CIA late in his life to help overthrow the government of Guatemala. In 1928, this guy wrote a book called Propaganda, and the first chapter starts with this. Chapter 1, Organizing Chaos. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic societies. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are moulded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. So that's back in 1928. And as you can see, that's what we see today with the manipulation of propaganda in the mainstream media. And it originates from this guy. So that was the uncle of the founder of Netflix. Just a brief look around Netflix and you can see the shows that they are pushing. They push shows that are massively behind climate change and the environment, not just documentaries, but films, sci-fi films that have the environment in the storyline. The LGBTQ shows, there's lots of shows with satanic storylines. They are latched into the agenda, messing with people's consciousness. Now, do you think at this particular time, in a world where we have people like Daniel Andrews in Australia saying, if you don't get a jab passport, you can't work, which means ultimately you can't earn money, which logically means you won't be able to buy food and you won't be able to eat. In a world where you have people like Fauci saying you don't have freedom of choice and that it should be taken away from you for the greater good. Basically, do as you're told or else. All of these crazy things are happening in a world where countries now are on the brink of financial collapse, where financial help, furlough from the government is now being taken away and thousands of people are out of work or their businesses are going bankrupt, leaving them in debt. All of this is going on and more. And then you have this show, a show about hundreds of people who are financially in a mess, who are seen as burdens to society, who are pushed into a game where they have to do as they are told. They have to follow the rules in order to survive. Do as you're told or else you're eliminated. A show where bodies of people are being piled up as the super rich elite watch for fun. So bored with their super rich lifestyles, they watch all of this for amusement and bet on the outcomes. Many of the games get the contestants to fight against each other. Another echo of the divide and conquer propaganda we are seeing. There's no notion in the show of the people joining forces and fighting against the system, against the game. The only time they team up is to beat the other contestants and sentence them to death. They always stick to the rules, etc., etc. And this show just so happens to become the biggest show that Netflix have ever had at this particular time. Do you really think that is an accident? These organizations are messing with the mindset of the world. The audience figures for Netflix are astronomical. And what does this show do on a subliminal level? A show like this at this particular time? Well, it will only increase people's fear about the future. It will reinforce the idea that people are a burden on society, that these people are worthless. It's desensitizing to scenes of mass death and violence. And also, it reinforces the ideology of obeying the rules of the game, obeying the ruling class, and that you should do what you're told or else. That's what I'm getting from it. But then, maybe I'm crazy. Have you seen the show? What did you think? Let us know in the comments. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, a place for like-minded souls who don't follow the fake stream media.